Okay, on the injury front, not practicing today will be Jack Conklin with a hamstring injury, BJ Goodson with a shoulder injury, and David Njoku with a hamstring injury. Uh, we're going to get Denzel Ward and Kevin Johnson back today off the COVID list, and Coach Callahan is back in the building today as well. Big challenge this week, as you all know. Got the Super Bowl champs, really, really well-coached football team with Coach Reed. And then just talent all over the field offensively, with the quarterback who's special and speed at all areas. Defensively, multiple. They can pressure you. They can play coverage. Really good in the back end in their disguise. I think Tyrann Mathieu as good as it gets in terms of how he makes life hard on the quarterbacks and flies around the field. Got a ton of respect for him and their entire defense. And then special teams wise, Coach Tobe does a great job with that unit. They're fast. They're very sound. So in general, huge challenge. We understand that. Going to have a great week of practice, and that starts today. So guys have already had their virtual meetings, and then we'll be on the field today, this afternoon. With that, I'll take any questions.
Appreciate the update, Coach. The first question goes to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, thanks, Kevin. In terms of Denzel, then, it may take him a couple of days to kind of get his wind and all that back. How will you guys monitor him, and what does it look like for him?
Yeah, you said it, Tom. We need to monitor all those guys that are coming off that list. So we'll be mindful of how they look. We'll talk to them, get some feedback from them, and then work that really day by day and understand where each one of those guys are.
And in terms of the head coach, what's his prognosis for the next couple of days?
He's probable.
Okay. You're on track then for tomorrow, as you said on Monday?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Jake Trotter's next.
Yeah, Kevin, the impact of getting Denzel and Kevin back this week, especially considering the caliber of the quarterback you're getting ready to face on Sunday.
Yeah, Jake, we're looking forward to getting a full complement of guys. And anytime you get good players back, again, whether it be injury or the COVID list, it's always a big boost for your entire team.
Thanks, Jake. Mary Kay Cabot, you're up.
Yeah, likewise. Can you just talk about the value that Bill Callahan has brought to your football team this whole entire season, and how challenging it was to be without him, and how happy you are to have him back and what he'll bring?
Yeah, obviously anybody coming off of this list, happy to get them back. Coach Callahan's done a great job for us all season, continued to do a great job, whether in the building or out. So I think it's a big deal for our offense and for our offensive line to get him back out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. We'll go to Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Coach, do you feel good about Jack Conklin, David Njoku, and BJ Goodson coming back and practicing for you before the game at some point this week? Or do you think that one or more of them could be in danger of missing it?
I'd characterize it as day-to-day, Nate. And today they're not practicing, but we'll obviously treat them and see what tomorrow brings.
Thank you, Nate. Jeff Shadell's next.
Hey, Kevin, we watch Patrick Mahomes on TV, but from a coach's eye, can you tell us what makes him so unique, the way he just throws from all angles and all that?
Yeah, I mean, you've all seen it. We've all seen it. He's a special player, can make every play, can make it from the pocket, outside the pocket, can move in the pocket and buy time, really good athlete. He's a special player. Again, I think anybody who's a fan of this game recognizes that.
Thanks, Jeff. Scott Patrick, you have our next question.
Hey, Kevin, what impressed you the most about Baker on Sunday night in his first playoff game?
Yeah, he was grinding this team to get a win any which way he could. I think that's what he's done this season. I think he makes plays on time, off schedule, has a great feel for the game plan, great feel for the opponent. So I think you're just seeing a continuation of things he's done all season.
And without Joel back today, is Blake Hance the left guard?
We'll work through all those, Scott, once we get out there on the field.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Tony Grossi, you're up.
Hi, Kevin. I just want to know, agreed Mahomes is a special quarterback. Does it require you as a play caller to call a different type of game offensively?
Yeah, I think as we all know, we recognize that this is a huge challenge for us with this entire team. You know, they're a great team, offense, defense, special teams. So they're the Super Bowl champs for a reason. So we have to play our best football. Offensively, we got to score points. Defensively, we got to try and keep them out of the end zone. But that's really where our focus is, Tony. Recognize the challenge, and then all sides of the ball have to be on point.
And he's got a phenomenal record coming back from a 10-point deficit or more. Did it the entire postseason last year. He's done it 7 times in a row in regular season. How much does that weigh on you to manage the clock, to not give him, 40 seconds, whatever the time limit is, to get the ball last?
Yeah, I think the focus just has to be on playing our brand of football. And that's complementary football, Tony. So to your point, obviously you're always trying to help out either side, and you're trying to play the field position game at times. But I think definitely our focus offensively is to go play our brand of football.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Dan Lobby's next.
Hey, Kevin. It kind of seems like every week Dearness Johnson is giving you guys at least one really good kick return. What has it kind of meant to have a guy, to kind of find that guy that can give you, some field position advantages on those returns and things like that?
Well, I'm glad you brought him up, Dan. I mean, he's given us a boost in the return game, but he also does a great job on the coverage phase. He's been a great teamer for us this season, not just as a returner. He's a really good teammate, is ready to go in there at a moment's notice on offense. So he's given us a bunch of really, really good reps this season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Aditi Kinkabwala has our next question.
Hi, Baker on Sunday seemed to be getting the ball out unbelievably quickly. Can you tell me what really went into that? And I mean, was he really just going to his first read every game, every play?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, when you're playing a team like last week, you can't hold the ball, and I'd say that's true this week as well. So it's our job to construct a game plan where the ball comes out on time. Sometimes that's a quick, a 3-step timing play. Sometimes it's a 5-step timing play, but the quarterback's getting it out on his, plant step or his first hitch. So very mindful of making sure that he gets through his progressions on time, because the rushers in this league and the rushers in the playoffs are typically really, really solid players. So we're mindful of it this week as much as we were last week.
And what's the challenge in that, in going through progressions that quickly? I mean, what do you have to be good at to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to trust your eyeballs first and foremost as a quarterback, but the ball in every play, the ball goes based on what the defense gives you. And I think Baker's seeing it real clearly so that you can get through your progressions quickly. And when sometimes there's not somebody open, and that's where he's done a nice job of buying time or throwing the ball away or what have you.
Thanks, Aditi. Back to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Kevin, you guys have done such a good job this year of taking a win or a loss, whatever it is, and tucking it away and moving forward. With all the emotion that was attached to Sunday night's win, how do you guard against like a potential hangover? You know what I mean? You're kind of going from an extreme to an extreme.
Yeah, I think you do that on Monday, Tom. Win, lose, or draw. You talk about it and then you put it away. And this morning, when they jumped on their Zoom calls this morning, it was on to the Kansas City Chiefs and on to the challenge that represents. So I think we trust in our process in that regard and stick true to this routine. And now this Wednesday, making sure that we're getting our great meetings this morning and then great workout on the field this afternoon.
Will that continue to be part of your message, Kevin? Don't be satisfied.
Always. I mean, it's the playoffs. It's still win or go home. So that's obviously going to be our message.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Nate Orrick, go to you.
I always ask you about Baker and some of the guys on offense and what you've learned about them, but I don't know if you've really had a chance to talk about Denzel Ward, and obviously he's newsy today. So I'm wondering just, what do you know about him that you didn't know, about what makes him tick and what allows him to be a big time player when he's been in there for you?
Yeah, I think Denzel's very, very competitive. I've been very impressed to watch him work, going all the way back to training camp when I finally got to meet him in person and just watch how he works. And little injury, little nicks and bruises here, and he pushed through all of those and kept practicing and kept competing at a high level. And I think you've seen in the games where he's made impactful plays when he's out there. So that's something that is very impressive to me.
Thanks, Nate. Zach Jackson, you're up.
Hi, Kevin. Do you know Andy Reid at all? And, as a play caller, have you ever studied or borrowed from him?
Yeah, I know Coach Reid a little bit, but he's somebody that I obviously admire a ton. Just watching how he's done it over the course of time in varying ways, how he's structured his offense to the strengths of his team. And then he's a great play caller. So I love to watch the great play callers and how they, how they mix it up and how they call different things and situationally as well with Coach Reid.
What makes a great play caller?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a feel for your guys, putting your guys in position to make plays and playing to their strengths probably is most important.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Marla Reitnauer has our next question.
Yeah, Coach, on Monday, the guys were talking about their belief, kind of their belief in themselves, belief in each other. Has this been that star way back in Zoom land, like many months ago? And how well have they carried it on, since?
Yeah, I think, they believe in each other for sure, Marla. And I think, that comes from, we've talked about confidence comes from demonstrated ability. So the guys have shown each other throughout this season how they work, how they play, how they fight on the field for 60 minutes. So I think that does give them great confidence in each other.
Do you see them sort of, I don't know, calling on that, like in the third quarter against Pittsburgh when, the Steelers are coming back?
I think the season has steeled us to that where it's going to be a battle. We know what we're getting ourselves into this week versus the Super Bowl champs. That's the playoffs. These games are hard. So you're going to have to respond to some adversity at some point, and you're going to have to weather that storm. That's the nature of January football.
Thanks, Marlo. We'll go back to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about how hard Kareem Hunt did run in that game against the Steelers? And then he came out afterwards and said that next week's personal. And, you've gotten to know him, I'm sure, really well this season. Just address, how hard he ran and how much I'm sure this game means to him.
Yeah, Kareem, every game runs very hard. He runs violently. He does not want to be denied when he's got the rock in his hands. His teammates love to fight out there with him and push the pile because they know he's constantly churning his legs and getting everything he can. And I just think any player, any coach going up against their former team is always excited about that opportunity.
Might you make him the captain this week?
We have 3 postseason captains, Mary Kay, so we'll stick with those guys throughout the playoffs, and you really can only send one guy out there of those 3 each week.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick, to you.
Hey, Kevin, when Kareem had that traffic stop pretty close to when you got hired, what was the discussion like with him, the decision to keep him, and then how's he been for you in that respect this year?
Yeah, Scott, I'm not going to get into that conversation. I'll just tell you he's done everything that I've asked of him since the moment he and I met.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Back to Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Going back to what you were saying about how you call a game differently, perhaps against different opponents, one of the things that Nick Chubb said in the aftermath of the Steelers game was that this will be another week where you'll have to score a lot of points. Do you want your players having that mindset? Do you yourself go in and say it's probably going to take more than 3 touchdowns this week?
Yeah, Aditi, honestly, every week I feel like you got to score a bunch of points in this league. That's never changed from week 1 to now. That's the mindset of an offense is when you touch the ball, you want to go in with a touchdown. So that'll always be our mindset. I totally recognize the challenge of this week. I understand how great Patrick Mahomes and this offense is, but it's incumbent upon each of our units, offense, defense, special teams, to play to their strengths and play their game.
Is there value? Is this a team that you can keep the ball away from? I mean, is this a game, instead of saying, okay, we need to score in bunches and fast, what if, you have the ability to hold on to, I don't know, 9-minute drives, 10-minute drives? Does that even matter against a team like this?
Yeah, I think ultimately you just got to score one more point than them, however it shakes out.
Thanks, D. We're going to take 3 more. Jake Trotter, Jeff Shadell, and Scott Petrick. Jake?
Kevin, you've had to exhibit a lot of calm in the storm lately, really the entire season. Who are some of the people that you have learned leadership from over the years in coaching?
Yeah, I hope I learned from everybody I've worked with, Jake, or played for in my life. You try to take something from everybody. So the list is too long to go over.
Let me ask you this then. What's the best piece of leadership advice you've ever gotten?
Yeah, I don't know specifically one piece of advice, Jake, but I just, in terms of leadership, I feel like as long as you're being yourself, you got a chance.
Thanks, Jake. We'll go to Jeff Shadell.
Hey, Kevin, I have one more Kareem Hunt question. Could you talk about the way he works in the weight room, the way he works on the practice field?
Yeah, Kareem loves football, and he loves being out there at practice in the weight room. You hear him before you see him. He's a ton of energy. His teammates love him. So he's brought a ton to our team off the field, on the field, just in his own way, being Kareem.
Thanks, Jeff. Final question to Coach goes to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, I know we've talked a lot about getting contributions from up and down the roster. But where does your confidence come from that, yes, the backups can step up and do what you need them to do? And then how gratifying is it when they actually do that?
Well, I mean, they're on our roster, Scott. We have confidence in them, that they're here for a reason. So in the nature of football, you got guys that go in and out of the lineup for varying reasons. And our expectations for how we perform doesn't change at all based on who's in there.
There's nothing special when you see Michael Dunn, who's never played, go out there and have the kind of game that he had on Sunday night?
I mean, I'm proud of him. He battled. I thought he played outstanding. I'm disappointed that he was injured, but that's what I expect from him.